Good morning, everyone. It's Sarah, and welcome to my crochet channel. I am very excited about today's video because this is video number 1 in our winter crochet along. Now, if you remember, last year we did Posh Pete, the Christmas elf, winter crochet along, and we had so much fun with all the silly antics of Posh Pete. Well, this year Posh Pete can't come to visit because he needs to stay in the North Pole and make sure Santa and all the elves stay healthy and safe. So Posh Pete sent me a crochet pattern that we could do for our crochet along this year. And it's a pattern of his favorite friend, Crystal, the Christmas puppy. And the neat thing about this pattern is you can also make it Crystal, the Christmas kitty, just by changing out the ears. Now you'll notice I don't have one. We're going to make it together. Are you ready? Let's get talking about what materials that we need for our Christmas puppy or kitty crochet along. To make your Christmas puppy or kitty, you're going to need some chunky number 5 yarn, and you're going to need about 9 to 10 ounces depending on how tightly that you stitch. I'm going to be using this yarn. This is called So Crafty Baby Sparkle Silver. It is a 5 chunky, and you can see it's got some sparkle in there. I think it'd be beautiful for my puppy. Now, some other options that you can use, of course, any chunky number 5 yarn will work. The velvet yarns will work for this. And if you don't have a chunky number 5 yarn, you can always use 2 strands of medium weight number 4 yarn. And you could also go up to a bulky number 6. Just keep in mind you'll probably have to use a bigger crochet hook if you do. The pattern calls for a chunky number 5, about 9.5 to 10 ounces of yarn. You're also going to need a color to use for your eyes, to embroider on your nose and mouth, and to make the little paw lines to make the feet look like paws. And I'm going to be using just black, medium weight number 4 yarn. You just need a small amount. You also need a small amount to make your puppy or kitty's collar. And I'm going to use this. This is I Love This yarn. It's a nice purpley pink sparkly color, and you just need a small amount of that to make your puppy or kitty's collar. We're going to be stitching with 2 different crochet hooks. The body, the legs, the ears, the tail, and the snout for our animal. We're going to use a J hook, which is a 6.0 millimeter crochet hook. And I know we're stitching chunky 5, but we want those stitches to be nice and tight so the stuffing doesn't show through. For your other parts, like your eyes and your collar, we'll be using an H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. When we do those portions of the pattern, I will remind you which crochet hook you should be using. Now you'll notice I have 2 needles out here. You'll need your smaller eyed needle for sewing in ends and embroidery with the medium weight number 4 yarns. You'll need a bigger needle with a bigger eye to weave in the ends for your chunkier yarn. You'll also need a stitch marker because we're going to be stitching in the round. We won't be joining. That way you get a nice smooth look to your legs and the body of your animal. We'll need a pair of scissors, and then the last thing you'll need is some sort of a charm or button that you can add to the collar of your puppy or kitty. I found this one at Michael's. It's called Top Paw. It's just a charm that you can hook on anything, and it's a little sparkly dog bone. And I liked that it was a little bit gray, so it will go with what my puppy is made out of. All right, you can use buttons. You can even crochet a little dog bone, or whatever that you want, maybe a little kitty paw or a fish for a cat. It's totally up to you what you use on that collar, or if you use anything. You can even use a jingle bell. And don't forget, you're going to need some stuffing. I'm using polyfill, and it's going to take about 6 ounces. I purchased a 12-ounce bag, and it's only going to take about half the bag. But remember also, you can stuff it as tightly as you want to, or you can leave it not quite so thick. All right, so you're going to need some polyester fiber fill to stuff that Christmas puppy. All right, so this is what you need to make your Christmas puppy. Now, I named mine Crystal because she's going to be a little girl. Now, of course, it can be a boy, it can be a girl, it can be a puppy, it can be a kitty. So lots of options there, and lots of yarn options as well. Let me just remind you, the pattern calls for chunky 5. If you want to make it bigger, you can use a bulky 6, or you can use 2 strands of medium weight number 4 held together. Just keep in mind, if you go with a bulkier yarn, you're going to need to probably go up a hook size in order to accommodate that thicker yarn. But I wanted you to have lots of options that you can do. You can even get in your yarn stash and come up with a puppy that's all Christmas colors, or different colors for that matter. So, get all your supplies together, and then on step number 2, we're going to start the head and the body.